Well, hello there. This is my weekly energy forecast or energy reading for the week beginning the 8th of February 2021. And I've had terrible internet connection today. It's down in the local area. In this modern age, we rely so much on technology that I can't get things done without it. So a little bit later in the day to do the reading today. But anyway, here it is. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Karen Turpin from karenturpin.com. I'm a spiritual coach, specializing in light worker, healer, and starseed empowerment and activation so that we can remove our blocks and our stuckness and get out into the world and make a difference, because that's what we came here for, after all. Anyway, if you've been watching my card readings, my energy readings over the last few weeks, you will maybe have noticed that sometimes when I pull a card, we get the same card for a couple of weeks as it moves through the deck into its kind of final position before we're through that and out. And so interesting that this week I pulled the same card as I had last week, which was the moon, showing us that this is all about subconscious stuff. So things coming up from deep within us. And what I've noticed personally in the last few days is flashback memories of certain situations or things that were said or people or that type of thing. And I was noticing it in myself, quite honestly. And then a few people mentioned it to me that they'd been having this stuff coming up in dreams or just in those quiet times in the day. So perhaps you've had the same thing happening. I don't really know enough about astrology to be able to tell you if that's an astrological thing or not, but I know that commonly people around the world are experiencing this right now because they've told me. So the moon, bringing up that unconscious, hidden stuff that's kind of deep. Sometimes it's got very deep, heavy emotions attached to it as well. Maybe some guilt, shame, even anger still attached to some old things. So that's coming up at the moment. And then the interesting thing is that we've got this card again, the Seven of Crystals, and the key word to that is dullness. And again, we had that a few weeks back as well. And what that card tells us is that there's a potential there for us to get stuck and feel really heavy in our unprocessed stuff. Now, as a spiritual coach, as I mentioned, I help a lot of people get unstuck. And so, what I know from that is that many times it's our beliefs, our limiting beliefs, our stories that we tell ourselves that keep us stuck in the past, unable to move forward. And then, yes, as that card indicates, it does make us very flat and dull. And as well, if we're carrying feelings of shame or guilt, things like that, those are very low vibrational emotions, frequencies that we have in the body. So those two cards together could indicate to us that we're in that stage of having the emotion come up. That's a heavy emotion, a low vibration, and it could just be indicating to us that it's keeping us stuck right there. And then out comes the Devil's Play card, which is an interesting card. I like this one, even though it kind of could be a little bit scary for some people. But it shows us our potential to choose how we want to behave, who we want to be in every moment. And so when our shadow comes up, um, do we see it as something from the past that is still us, still our identity? Do we go immediately back to who we were back then? Or are we able to rise above it and see it from a higher perspective, a higher level of consciousness? Are we able to use the opportunity of old stuff coming up literally to notice how far we've come in terms of our personal development, in the fact that we look at old things perhaps and say, wow, why did I get so upset about that? Or why was I so worried about that? Because in the scheme of things, it really doesn't matter. So we may be using this opportunity right now to look back at old things and notice how much we've grown. And that would be a great thing, wouldn't it? So we might use this set of cards as an opportunity to look back on past things and reassess and ask ourselves, is that really who I want to be going forward? Could we create a new identity for ourselves? Because as I mentioned, what keeps a lot of people stuck is the identity of who they were back then, the identity of who they think they are right now. But as we are the creators, we also have the opportunity to create a new identity, a more evolved and upgraded identity for ourselves if we choose to. So, potentially this week, we have a lot of opportunity for growth, for reflection as well, but the opportunity to really choose a new level of being. And in the work that I do with my quantum visioning work, for example, I often help people literally to jump onto a new timeline or identity for who they are, who they want to be. And that fascinates me now at this point, when I look at the macro level, the global level, because this reading, we can apply it very personally to ourselves on a micro level. But there are big challenges going on the planet right now. I know that you know what I'm talking about here because it's all around us. And I see or would question, if these energies coming through right now affect us on a micro level, could it also be affecting the macro level, the planetary level? And of course, the answer to that is yes. I already know the answer. So let's look at the global landscape of where we are in terms of challenges on the planet. We've got all sorts of things going on, and we have people that are scared to look at the dark. So when we look at hidden agenda, hidden earth history, which we know has gone on, the powers that be, the controllers, the cabal, the dark state, whatever you want to call that, deep state, sorry, not dark state, whatever you want to call that, we know that certain things have been hidden from us, the population, humanity. And they try to tell us it's because we couldn't cope with what we would have to wrap our heads around. Let's just talk about aliens, for example. The whole story about Roswell and how it was covered up. And I know, lots of us know that aliens do visit this planet and things like that exist. And we've been hearing recently all about children being rescued from tunnels underground, and, the extent of the pedophilia and, satanic rituals in Hollywood. And if you have looked further than the distance of your nose to the computer screen, you will have seen that all of that stuff is out there. And yet there's a part of us that doesn't want to admit that that could possibly be true. It's conspiracy theory after all. And if you believe in any of that, then you must be a little bit of a Looney Tunes or something. Generally, that's, how people view that. However, a lot of this stuff has been revealed to me over the last 20 years. And so I'm kind of, I don't like what I'm seeing revealing, but I'm kind of fairly comfortable because I know that there's a lot of stuff there hidden still that I don't even know, of course. And so when we look at the moon card on a global level, it's telling us there's a lot hidden. There's a lot hidden in the unconscious. There's underground things that we don't even know about. And then we can say, right, well, here is the next card on a global level. If we focus on that, it's going to make us very dull, very heavy, very stagnant in our energy. And I think that this is a little bit of a problem for us light workers and healers and starseeds, because we came here to make a difference, to the world, to hold light, to hold truth, to speak the truth on this planet, because that's what light and love is all about: being truthful, revealing what is in the darkness, bringing it up into the light to be seen, to be witnessed, to be healed, to be released. And yet, here we have this card on a global level, and many, many light workers are looking at that, some of that so-called conspiracy theory, the dark stuff that's hidden from mainstream, and they're saying, it's a little bit too heavy, it's a bit dark, I don't really want to go there, I don't want to look at that. And so they turn away and they look at it, they don't look at it. To me, this is spiritual bypassing. They're not willing to look at what is here. We're the light, we're coming onto the planet to shift consciousness, to bring light into the dark spaces. And yet, if we say, oh, it's too dark, I don't want to look, well, who is going to do it? It's just going to continue, because the moon has cycles. Our emotions have cycles. We know we're affected by that every month. And so the subconscious, the hidden things that are not brought into the light to be healed and cleared, will come around again the next cycle. So we look at the planetary history, planetary goings on, the hidden Earth history, all the stuff that is hidden from us now in this day and age, whether that's underground or just hidden behind a screen. And we can see that we're being lied to, that we need to bring things out into the light to be seen. Yet, if we say it's too heavy, I don't want to look at that, what do you think's going to happen to it? It's going to perpetuate, it's going to continue. Now, the Devil's Play card is interesting on a personal level and on a global level. Personal level, you might say, oh, I've got all this dark emotion coming up. It's connected to my childhood, or, my ex, or whatever it is. Oh, it's all a bit heavy and a bit dark. I don't really want to look at it. I might drown my sorrows. And people turn to booze and drugs and food and all sorts of other distractions so that they don't have to look and process the emotions that are coming up. We know, as healers, light workers, sensible people, we know that what you don't look at and process and clear and heal stays within you, and it comes round cyclically. I can't say that word. In a cycle, like the moon, it comes around again and again until we address it, focus on it, process it, heal it, let it go. The same as Earth history. We look at Earth history. We've had eons of time of being enslaved, of being controlled, of being dominated. When did we ever on this planet have truth, freedom, sovereignty, the opportunity to really step into our truth and be all that we can be as divine, Christed human beings? All of that has been suppressed and pushed down. And the controllers, the cabal, whatever you want to call them, they don't want that to come up. So, in a sense, on a macro level of that Devil's Play card, certain people are trying to suppress it, push it down so that we don't see it, so that we can't bring it into the light. They're trying to suppress it again so that they can carry on with whatever it is that they're doing. And they're trying to distract us. Oh, no, don't look at that stuff. Look at this. We've got this global pandemic. We must all focus on that now, because that's going to bring the control back in. And then we're distracted from looking at what's going on over here. So, perfect Devil's Play card on a macro level as well as on a personal level. So that was a little bit, I didn't actually intend to go there, but there you go. You never know. When I free talk, we go places. So here we are. Subconscious stuff coming up, the potential for us to be heavy and dull and stagnant in that. However, the potential also, because here's the devil play. Will you stay with the devil you know or the devil you don't? And is that actually even a devil after all? Because when you are tempted to suppress and drown, or with drink or drugs, suppress and dumb down The stuff that wants to come up from the darkness into the light, if you suppress it, what happens? You go through it all over again, exacerbated as well. That's the devil you know. Is that where you want to go back to? If you've got heavy emotions from a heavy childhood and a heavy ex, do you want to get that out and clear? Or do you want to keep cycling round and round in the same stuff? Would you not prefer to bring it up to the light, heal it, and let it go once and for all? I would. And this is the opportunity that the devil play card is giving you. Which way do you want to go? The devil you know, keeping you stuck in old stories, or let's step into something new, because this is a new timeline that we're on. The age of light. I like to call it the age of the light worker, because it's up to us to step up, to speak the truth, to stand strong in the light and say, no more suppression, no more control and domination and gagging me so that I can't speak my truth. The censoring on, Facebook and Twitter and all these places is a classic example of censoring, right? I can't speak my truth. I'm being censored. All of that stuff. I could go on about that, but I think you know where I'm going. All of that is right there on the tip. And if we choose better the devil we know, then we're going to go right back in that even deeper, because this is the age of light and we are meant to have a timeline shift. We're meant to be moving more and more into the light, more and more into truth and sovereignty and liberation for all of us to be who we truly are. So it's time now to bring that dark stuff up into the light. Be strong, because some of the things that you are going to discover, you're not going to like very much. I've seen a lot of that stuff over the last 25 years, and I know that there's going to be stuff that I've never even heard of that I'm sure will astound me. However, we have to face the truth. If we are who we say we are, a light worker, here to make a difference, then who is going to do it if not us? We have to step up. It's my invitation to you. And I'm sorry, this is very much more, sounds like I'm kind of, very strong today, but I kind of feel this passionately. We need to move this whole planet and the consciousness onto a whole new timeline so that we can actually be the change in the world that we wish to be, that we came here to be. So that's my message for today. If you kind of like my vibe, then join my Facebook group. It's called Source Light Connection, of course, because that's what we should all have freely, a source light connection. And then if you would like to work with me, if you're a light worker that feels stuck and blocked and is not stepping out in the truth and in your on your path, and if you are not all you came here to be and you would like my help to step into that role, then please DM me or comment below, because I have a beautiful light worker coaching program that is all about getting you aligned and activated. It starts in March. I would love to help you do it, because we need you. The world needs you. So it's time for you to shine your light, step into your truth, and I would love to help you with that. Otherwise, I will see you here again next week for next week's energy reading. In the meantime, have a great week. Stay in truth, stay in the light, and be who you came here to be, because the world does definitely need you. Thanks for listening. See you soon.